This is gonna be pretty cool. We're gonna be able to really test out all these safety enhancements.
Put the outrigger down, come to complete stop, keep your feet in the pegs, and then you press and hold that TC button for several seconds.
It's definitely gonna be slicker than any wet road you probably encounter in the real world. Demonstration we're doing here right now, sport mode's a little out of scope for what this surface is. We have dirt on this pavement, and while it's not going to be quite as slick as, like, say, ice, it's definitely going to be slicker than any wet road you probably encounter in the real world. So keep that in mind when you're evaluating these different traction controls. Rain's going to be complete, like confidence inspiring. You'll be able to whack the throttle. It's going to take control away from the rider. It's going to manage wheel slip, and it's going to slowly return control back to the rider. It's going to feel like it's not bogging down, but it's going to feel like it's pulling power away from you. Like, that's the whole purpose of having a very conservative ride mode. With road mode, we basically have, it's going to allow some slip, so you will experience some yaw. We have to allow a certain amount of slip in order to have takeoff. So think if you're like trying to take off in like wet grass or something, like you need to have a little bit of wheel spin to kind of get you going. That wheel spin will change as you get higher in speed. We bring that like target down. So like if you're taking off, you go across the intersection, you hit an oil spill, it's going to catch that wheel flare a lot more than when you're just first taking off. Likewise, it's also dependent on your lean angle. So if you're at lean and you whack the throttle, it's going to be a lot, it's kind of like gradient control. It's going to be a lot less power being put to the ground than you're requesting. So if you're straight up and down, it's going to allow a lot more slip, and you're going to feel it's going to behave a lot more differently. On the outrigger bikes, you're not going to be able to lean over far enough to kind of experience this. But when you're riding around, if you're in rain mode and you're at full lean, whack that throttle, and it's going to pull power away from you and slowly give it back. And like that's by design. You don't want to shock that wheel. So, you know, the smaller the wheel flare, obviously the easier it is to manage. So ABS is standard between road and sport. So it doesn't matter which mode you're in, you're gonna have the same safety threshold on both road and sport. And then obviously in rain mode, it's gonna be a lot more conservative. So it's gonna be a lot more stable, it's gonna be a lot more stable. So it's gonna allow a lot less wheel slip. You might have not as much decel rate as you would be in a full ABS event, but your stability is gonna be maximized on like, you know, a tear over road or a wet surface. So the demonstration we have out here, it's gonna be pretty, when you're looking at the cones, we're not actually following like the parking lot. We're gonna have you guys entering in counterclockwise. You're gonna have to come in pretty broad, and keep in mind your speeds are gonna have to be pretty slow because you can't lean. Like you only have maybe about 5 degrees with these with all these outriggers. So cover the clutch in the corner. You're only gonna be able to do it about 10 miles an hour, and the engine's gonna be wanting to be in the lugging zone. Like it's kind of hard to go that slow, just going around a corner. So just prepared, cover your clutch. As you start squaring up, what we're trying to demonstrate here is like the road opening up in front of you. So like this isn't supposed to be like a flat track coming out of a corner, clutch dump. Think of it as like you think the road is clear, you're still in your corner, so you're still leaned over, and just roll on and like try to like catching up with your buddies or trying to be unaggressive, and like don't pay attention to the dirt. And you'll see a TC we're exercising the TC system here. So I encourage you all to do a dry run. So yeah, you guys have 10 minutes. So first, do a dry run so you can focus on getting around the corner. And then, plot your trajectory on where you want to exit. And then start off in rain mode. Do a few laps in rain mode and go to road mode. Again, you're more than welcome to try sport mode, but that's going to be out of scope for as low of a friction surface as this is. You could also disable TC if you really want to see how well the system is truly saving you. Encourage you guys, keep your feet on the pegs. If you touch an outrigger, no problem. That's what these things are for. You could slide all day on these outriggers. Like you're not hurting the pucks, you're not wearing anything out. So don't put your feet down. Don't feel like you have to recover. So if you go down, keep your weight on that puck and just wait till you come to a stop. Likewise, if you guys are not making the turn or you bounce a puck and it's going to catch you off guard. This is not something that everyone rides with. Just come to a stop, just fall down. We'll get you resituated and re-aim back up.
If you want to try with traction control off, which I'd encourage you to do so you can get a feel for what it's like to not have this cornering enhanced traction control, you do have to come to a complete stop, which means you have to put the outrigger down, come to a complete stop, keep your feet in the pegs, and then you press and hold that TC button for several seconds until you see the TC light come on, which means you no longer have traction control. Then you start to ride away, pick the bike up, Matt's gonna tell you the proper technique, and then you'll have no TC to feel how much it slips without traction control.
This is going to be pretty cool. We're going to be able to really test out all these safety enhancements the proper way, and you see exactly what they're able to do on certain situations where you might get caught up, sandy roads, wet roads, whatever it may be. But this is going to be the test bike that we're going to be doing it on here. It has an outrigger. That's what it's called. It's pretty cool, man.
I'm not. You can do better. I won't. Not better than these guys.
Did you see how crazy that was? So right there, that was without traction control. So you guys can see exactly what happens when you're cracking the throttle if you're on either icy roads, on wet roads, sandy roads. Without that traction control, you're gone. So it's crazy to see the amount of just technology that goes into the whole riding safety enhancement and how good this traction control is, how it just enables everything and just reduces all the power away and just fixes the situation. So look over there. It's gonna hit the throttle right there while the sand's at. See the back wheel just spin out. Back wheel spins out, but it does everything where it kind of just helps you out. Talk about technology, it's probably one of the coolest things and best things that are on a motorcycle right now. These rider safety enhancements are great. Could be a lifesaver. All right, guys, so I was able to get on the street bob, do my circuit right now. Ryan went before me. I didn't look as good as him doing it, but what was your take on everything so far?
Dude, those rider enhancements, like I always say, manufacturers, anybody that can put those on, amazing. How can you balk at that? Because it's less injuries for riders, less fatalities. And if you're not an experienced rider or you lock up in an emergency situation, it's going to help you get out of those. So amazing technology. It's
really
weird
cool.
how well it works.
Yeah, literally, it can literally save your life. This is awesome. And the fact that we get to do this here, test this out for you guys, show you how everything works out, it's pretty cool. This to me is like a huge selling point for anyone who's out there trying to, look for a bike like this, especially like a softail like this. To me, it's a huge selling point.